Rachel Smalley.
It's Today FM. And now Russian President Vladimir Putin has told North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that the two countries will, quote, expand the comprehensive and constructive bilateral relations with common efforts. What does that mean? What does that mean? In other words? Well, it means they're new besties. Putin says closer ties are in both countries' best interests, and the relationship will help to strengthen the security and stability of the Korean Peninsula and the northeastern Asian region. So, what does the cozying up of this relationship mean for the rest of the world? Jeffrey Miller is an expert in geopolitics. He's with the Democracy Project. Good morning to you, Jeffrey. What is in this for Putin, do you think?
Good morning, Rachel. Well, two words really, weapons and manpower. North Korea has got a stockpile of artillery that they've been building up over decades, really since the Korean War in the 1950s, and they've never used them to any great extent. And of course, Russia's been burning through the weapons. This war is grinding on now into the 6th month, so it needs resupplies, and North Korea can offer that. And also manpower. North Korea has the 4th biggest military in the world. It's actually bigger than Russia's own military. And there was a report that North Korea had offered 100,000 quote-unquote volunteers to fight in Ukraine on Russia's behalf. Now, we don't know whether Putin will use those, but it would be good to have them as options if you're looking at it from his perspective.
How might China view this, do you think, Jeffrey?
I think China will be okay with it. I mean, China has a very good relationship with North Korea. They've actually patched it up in recent years. There was a rocky period a few years ago, but the relationship really is better than ever between North Korea and China. They had a celebration of 70 years of relations back in 2019, just before COVID. And the talk was of an invincible friendship. So I think in some ways this feels like the band getting back together. It feels like 1950s, 1960s Cold War before there was the Sino-Soviet split at the end of the 1960s. And really North Korea, Russia and China are all getting on very well with each other at the moment.
It's a pretty extraordinary little block there, isn't it? So that begs the question, I guess, what will Washington be thinking, or how will they be viewing this symbolic handshake?
Well, I think this is largely baked in. I think Washington takes a dim view of North Korea's activities generally. They are a rogue state with their nuclear program that is not monitored by anyone, really, and they're continuing to test ballistic missiles on a regular basis. Their last nuclear test itself was back in 2017, but there's been talk that they will probably try and do another one soon, perhaps this year. So, I think, North Korea is one of the worst regimes. I don't think it will be any surprise to the US that Russia is going to North Korea and asking for help. Perhaps it speaks volumes that that's the kind of regime that they can get help from. I mean, there are many countries that are passively supporting Russia's war on Ukraine, or at least not speaking out against it. It's largely a Western coalition that's come in behind Ukraine. But there are actually very few active supporters of Russia at the moment. Belarus is one, and North Korea looks like it's another.
Jeffrey Miller, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. An expert in geopolitics and with the Democracy Project. It's coming up 18 minutes to 8.